Amen.
Hello, everybody. All right. Hello, hello. Okay. We're so glad to have this opportunity again to get together and look at ourselves and to give acknowledgement to some things, to really look at ourselves on a deeper level. So, again, we're dealing with the subject. Um, what is the subject? We're dealing with the subject gaining the whole world, losing our soul. Thank you, Felicia. God bless you. Gaining the whole world and losing our soul. What are you losing? Well, I don't think we have to worry about that too much because in most cases, all we got is the world. That's mainly what we got is the world. The surface stuff. And our souls has not really been tapped like it should be. We should be so into our souls that there will be no disappointments, there will be no stress, no frustration, no um, distractions. I mean, our soul, our deeper soul, is equipped to the point where if you tap into it, there is nothing else you will need. Absolutely nothing else. You would absolutely need nothing else. If you was to tap into the deeper you, the deeper you. In Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 4, again, just pointing out from the scriptures of how much the Bible talks about the soul. And in Ezekiel 18 and 4, it says, "For every living soul belongs to me." This is what God is saying. The fathers, the Father as well as the Son. Now, the reason he said that is because there was actually a question in this lesson about, you know, do we have to give account of what our parents have done? And he said, look, all souls are mine. You got to give account of what you do. They got to give account of what they do. So don't even be thinking that because I've heard a lot of people say, we suffer because of the sins of the father. No, God done took care of all of that. The only thing that we suffer from is is not giving acknowledgement to who we really are. That's our biggest sin. Because all these other sins are was forgiven. Once you get born again, when you don't dig deeper to the deeper you, that is going to be your problem. That is going to be our problem. So again, Ezekiel 18, verse 4, it says, "For every living soul belongs to me, the Father as well as the Son. Both alike belongs to me. The soul who sins is the one who will die." Your soul is who you really are. Out the Amplified Bible, it says, Ezekiel 18:4, it says, "Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sins, it shall die." Mark chapter 8, verse 36. If a person is shamed of me and my message, and those adulterers and sinful days, I'm at verse 38. Let's move back up to 36. Verse 36, and that's Mark chapter 8, verse 36. And who and how do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your soul in the process? If you gain the whole world. So one of the things that we're still anticipating and believing in and contemplating is gaining the whole world. You know, a lot we probably won't admit it, but deep down, that's what we're after, gaining. Because what is gaining the whole world? It's gaining fame. It's gaining money. Tell me who is not anticipating more money, wanting the big money. The big money, plenty money, more money than you will ever need. It's guaranteed. God's way. But God's way is going to take away your way, take away your way of thinking. It's going to put you into a whole different attitude. It's going to cause you to realize that you're actually nothing apart from Him. And see, when it get right down to it, there's a lot of stuff that we hadn't sold. We'll say a lot of stuff, or we'll agree. Yeah. We know how to agree with a lot of stuff, but when it come right down to it, our suffering is coming from us not really being honest with ourselves, or not really serious with ourselves. Because when we're really serious with ourselves, we would be into ourselves like we are with a job. Even though I don't want to be there, I still got to give these guys eight hours or 16 hours or whatever kind of job I got until the job is finished. Now just think if you was to give that kind of attention to the real you. There's no way you wouldn't tap into the soul. And see, giving your attention to the real you, that's where the real knowledge is. The real knowledge is the real you. The worldly knowledge is the worldly knowledge. That's all it is. And worldly knowledge will pay your bills. Worldly knowledge will give you vacations. Worldly knowledge, the knowledge that you need to get by and get a check and make some money and save a few dollars. The worldly knowledge that's all it is, worldly knowledge. It's the structure life. And it'll give you enough to get by, and sometimes some people that know how to cheat and manipulate and rip other people off, they make, they do very well. And see, the Bible talks about in Ezekiel, where we was just reading it. If you get time, you go back and read and look at how God was telling them, look, the person that treat everybody right, don't cheat when it comes to paying his employees. The person that is fair in all of his judging. The person that do all of this is the person that was able to keep the law. And to him, it was unto him as righteousness. But he's saying, oh, how many of y'all can say that you have been fair in all of your dealings, that you have been straight up in everything you have done? Is there any sin that you have committed at all? How many of us can say that we've never sinned in any kind of transactions, on our taxes, in everything that we've done? So if you go back and read that in Ezekiel chapter 18, it lays it out on. He just put it to him. So y'all want to talk to me and you want to know who because even the people of God approached one time and said, look, we've wronged no man. We've done nothing wrong. And the conversation went on and they had to change that. But Mark, again, chapter 8, 36. And how do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul in the process? Is anything worth more than your soul? Is anything of this world more important than you? See, I'm not talking about getting all caught up in you being something apart from God. But see, God puts us in our place and He tells us that none of this is going to happen for us, and none of this can happen for us. We can't even go deeper if we don't take the approach of recognizing certain things. You got to recognize certain things. This is about His grace. This is not about you being able to earn anything. You just got to step back from your own activities, from your own way of seeing things. You got to step back from your concepts and your opinions and your ability. I mean, we deal with this every day. We are trying to have a better life based on earthly thinking. That's why we put off getting serious with the real I am. That's why we don't get serious with the real me, the real I am. If you were really serious, you would be meditating like crazy. You would be you would take the approach you would your job. I hate going, but I need my check to be full this week. I don't need to miss no 8 hours on my check because it will be destroyed. That's the kind of attitude we take. But just think if I was to miss my set time for my maturity and my growth of tapping into my soul. See, you don't have a real picture of what you're dealing with when it comes to the real you. Because see, seeing and knowing is required.
Thank you.
Those two words is got to be a part of your awareness. You got to know that the only way you're going to find God's best or witness your best,
Thank you.
the only way that's going to happen is that you got to know your soul. You got to know something about your soul. And I mean, I'm talking about the deeper you. We know the surface stuff. I mean, the surface stuff we do all the time. You know, surface stuff help us to get us through life. You know,
Thank
I mean, the surface stuff is mathematics. You know, if you couldn't count, that's part of the surface stuff. If you didn't know your numbers, you'd be in trouble. In this system, you got to know your numbers. You got to be able to give correct change and know how to do certain things. That's surface stuff. But when you start dealing with the deeper you, but you got to first tap in, but you got to have the proper spiritual knowledge. Got to have knowledge of the soul, knowledge of what you really are.
Thank you.
And that's the only thing you should be focusing on. Because we got other plans.
Thank you.
See, we got plans of getting this done our way.
Thank you.
But God done laid it out. The only way that's going to happen is His way.
Thank you.
And His way is you putting first the function that is required by you, the responsibility that is required by you. Your responsibility in all of this is to meditate and to seek the awakening and the deeper you. Because see, the real you is sufficient in itself. See, that's why there's nothing else you would need, nothing else you would even want if you ever tap into the real you.
Thank you.
And everything that you need and desire will be looking for you. All you gotta do is just grab it or just speak to it and say, come here. Now this is your setup. This is what you are about. I mean, this is how deep God go when it comes to the soul or when it comes to you. The soul is you. And the reason your soul is the way it is because God gave it to you. He gave you your soul. Your soul belongs to Him, and He gave it to you so it could belong to you.
Thank you.
What are you going to do with it? Are you going to at least know what it is? Because see, I mean, if you don't know what your soul is, or let's put it this way, if you don't know who you really are, you would be looking, trying to find things that you need that you already are. you already are whole and complete. But this is what you're working for. This is what you're striving for. Everybody's striving to be whole and complete. But if you ever tap into the real you is whole and complete. We're trying to get a little bit closer to God, trying to get a little deeper. Trying to get an extra blessing. Wanna stop doing this and stop doing that. Look, if you would just appreciate what God has already done and accept what He has already done when it comes to you, and want to see and to know you based on what you really are. That's the only goal that you need. That's what you should be contemplating every day. I mean, like the deer pants for water, we ought to be panting like that. If you ever seen a deer pant for water, a deer, when the hunters are chasing them and they get a little break, if you ever get a camera and take the picture of them, they be rocking like a rocking chair with their tongue hanging out, breathing hard, thirsty. I mean, it's a life and death situation. I need water. I've been out here running for my life, running for my life. I mean, I need water. Just think if you had a desire like that, to a desire like that to see and to know who you really are. To know who you really are. I mean, the thing that is so awesome, when I just think about what I'm saying, I just said, just to know who you are. Our biggest disappointment in life is that we never got to know who we really are. And that's going to be our story too if we don't see the urgency of this. This is the only thing that you should be concerned, because this is why our lives is the way they are. This is why there's so many disappointments. This is why there's such fear in our lives. This is why there's so much concern when it comes to our lives. And am I gonna ever? And am I gonna ever? And am I gonna ever this? Or am I gonna ever that? And then we get caught up and try to fix it ourselves. We pursue this avenue, we pursue that avenue, we pursue this rabbit trail, and we run down the rabbit trail. And if you ever did any rabbit hunting, all a rabbit do is leave one spot, make a big, huge circle, and come right back to the spot. And when we send the dogs after them, the dogs will be barking and running, and the rabbit is so quick, and he know how to give them false trails, and he'll run out this way a little bit and double back and cut across this way and double back, and then he runs zigzag and zigzag, and the dogs out there bumping heads and barking, but they smelling his trail, but they don't know what he ended up doing. But if you got a real smart rabbit dog, he know how to come back to the place where he started. That's why those kind of dogs will cost you $28,000 to $30,000. And just to, I had an uncle that had rabbit dogs and cousins that had a bunch of dogs like that, and they had dogs with prices on them like $28,000. People would just bring their dogs just to breed with his dog and pay him thousands of dollars because of the bloodline. I'd give you $8,000 just for my dog to breed with yours, because he's so good at what he does. And when you call him a rabbit dog, he's the best in the business. And don't let him have a litter of puppies. Man, People be calling you, harassing you. I need one of those puppies, man. I got whatever price whatever price you lay out. I got you. I got you. I need one of those puppies. Same way with coon dogs. My Uncle Forrest, or Preston and Liddy know him as Liddy's uncle too. He had a coon dog, one of the prettiest dogs I've ever seen. And man, he was tall and big. And the people stole his dog. He was so good at what he does. You see, a coon can, when you treeing a coon, when the owner of the dog get to the tree and the dog is standing there looking up the tree, it's a big disappointment, and then they'll laugh at you too if it ain't no coon up in the tree. And once that dog stops to a tree, you got to have a dog that know that a coon will run up the tree, jump off the tree, and keep going. This dog was so smart, he'll follow the scent of the coon up the tree, then he'll make a circle out round the tree to pick up his scent again, and then he go on to another tree. And he keep his eye on the coon. So, I mean, and this is hunting at night. Because you don't hunt coons in the day, you hunt them at night. You don't even go coon hunting till after 12 o'clock. And when you had dogs that will always come through, hey, look, hey, the word is out. Can I breed my dog with yours? People stole his dog, and I don't know if you ever got him back, but it was one of the biggest and prettiest dog that I've ever seen. But we get on these trails and we go down this rabbit trail and we go down that rabbit trail because we have not settled the truth of how this thing is going to take place. But I'm just thanking God that He is giving us the remedy on how to tap into who we really are. And the way that happened, I got to have the approach and the attitude and the spiritual knowledge that this don't happen with my efforts. It happens through my obedience. I got to be obedient to my practices. I got to practice and practice and practice till I can tap into the deeper me. Because the soul is complete within itself. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, it says, and the Lord God formed a man's body from the dust. And the ground, from the dust of the ground, and breathed into it the breath of life. And the man became a living soul. See, you are a living soul. But is that your awareness? Are you aware of a living soul? See, a living soul is not just a soul that is oppressed. It's not a soul that is controlled by somebody else. It's not a soul that has been wounded and that is bruised and manipulated by circumstances and situations and people in your life. See, there's a living soul, there's the deeper soul that you are, but we pretty much deal on the surface part of the soul where the soul is it's not even aware of its own power or its own abilities. It's not aware of its qualities. It's not aware of its characteristics. See, when you are aware, when you know about you, you are looking forward to seeing you. But who's looking forward to seeing? Because, I mean, what is my view of me? I mean, if you had the proper view of yourself or the proper vision of yourself, you would have actually absolutely no worries, no frustrations. You wouldn't be moved by humans. You would understand that the reason things are the way they are is because you are allowing it to be the way it is. So when people come to you and bring their stories and bring their issues and bring you, hey, you know the gist. You are not paying a price. You're not doing anything about you. The only reason you got the situation that you have, because see, we'll do better when it comes to the structured life to have a little better situation. But when it comes to who you really are, we're not that interested in doing anything deeper or more than what we're already doing. But you're not going to get around it because you're either going to settle for a life that has never seen or know the real you, which is going to be nothing but a surface and an illusional life. It's just an illusional life. And you don't know when some illusion is going to catch you and take you on down the road. Because that's all it is. It's an illusional life. So one illusion can come through and capture you for the rest of your life. And here you are following an illusion. And see, I mean, God got it, He's got it set where you're either going to be what you really are, or you're going to find yourself following the worldly knowledge. And all you're going to have is worldly knowledge. And worldly knowledge at its best is filthy rags. Worldly knowledge, but see, how many people will agree with that? There's a lot of people think worldly knowledge is everything. Worldly knowledge, man, if you get worldly knowledge, or if you get knowledge, if you get education, but are you educated when it comes to the real you? Have you tapped into the real you? See, when we start talking about the soul, you you know, I don't know nobody you can talk to that when you talk to them about the soul, that they have any idea what you're talking about. Because we have not taken the time to really look at who we really are. See, we talk, we know, and this ministry has really focused on the oneness, where there's no longer you and God. God made you in his image. He adopted you into his life as him. When he took you in as a living soul. and made you out of himself. So it's all about him. It's all about him. And in John, 3rd John, chapter 1, and verse 2, it says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. Now, how can your soul? Now, see, he's got it fixed. Look, you can forget being prosperous, even be in health, if you are not giving your attention to the importance of your soul prospering. See, your soul is not what you see in the mirror. Your soul is not your hairdo, your outward appearance. Your soul is not your physique. Your soul is not what you see and what everybody focus on. Where we spend all our money on, the outward appearance. Your soul is the invisible part of you. But the thing about it, even though your soul is the invisible part, to you, it shouldn't be invisible at all. You should be so caught up with the deeper you and be so sensitive to the deeper you that you are so sensitive and so connected that you are aware of you and everybody else is aware of you. Everybody else should be aware of you. They should be able to smell you because you can smell yourself. And this is in the spirit realm. This is in the spirit realm. You should be so in tune with the spirit being that you know how you can be. I was looking at Ray the other night, and Jamie Foxx was the movie that Jamie Foxx done, and losing his eyesight. Ray Charles did that little scene where he was sitting to the table with B, but at the same time he could hear the buzz of the hummingbird outside the window, and told B, made her aware that there's a hummingbird outside the window. And B looked out the window and saw the hummingbird. And she's sitting there with a man that couldn't see. But he could see. See, this is how we're supposed to be when it comes to who we really are. We should be so familiar and so aware of who we really are. And see, when I say who we really are, what I'm saying is we should be so aware because of, and we should be so aware of, we should be so aware because of our abilities. See, exercising the soul's abilities, the intellect, affections. What kind of appetite do the spirit have? Oh, Jesus. What is the passion of the Spirit? I'm talking about the real you.
Thank you.
See, breaking the illusions of sense. See, we got to have sense.
Thank you.
If it don't make no sense, it don't make no sense. But see, we talking about superseding these illusional senses, our sense. Because see, we operate by, what I heard,
What I see,
what I feel,
what I see,
what I taste,
what I see,
what I smell.
see, see.
All of it is in the material state of consciousness. Material state. That's why we can't get rid of this level of senses because it's all about the material sense of consciousness. But see, when we begin to get familiar with the quality and the qualities of the soul. See, when you're dealing with the qualities of the soul and the attributes of the soul, when you deal with the attributes of the soul, you are dealing with the infant knowledge. You're talking about infant vision, the infinite energy, the infinite bliss. You're talking about knowing the knowing of the soul. The soul should know
Thank you.
what up.
Thank you.
The soul should know what up.
Thank you.
Why would I panic when I know what's up? When I know what up? See, this is what you would be tapping into. The ability of the soul, the power of the soul. The soul is immortal, invisible. It is still. See, we're not people that are still.
Thank you.
We're moving with this, moving with that, moving with this, and moving with that. We're moving because we heard. We're moving because we felt. We're moving because we tasted. We're moving because we smell. So we got to ask ourselves the question: what am I really working with? Because I want progress, but am I working with the proper things? Because the thing is, I need to know how to be still. Now, be still. What I mean by be still, I need to be still into my practice, not where I used to be, but even deeper. I need to be still because see, we'll start with something and end it almost as fast as we started it. So, I mean, it's not going to happen, y'all. I mean, your security, your abundance, God's way is going to only happen God's way.
That's it. Thank you, Jesus.
So you can settle if you want to for the struggle, structured, illusional life
You can settle. You can settle.
because that's what most of us are doing. We're just selling. We ain't got no real appetite for the deeper
Thank you.
self, you're going to have to occur or some kind of way obtain a greater appetite, and you got to learn how to be still. You're going to have a greater appetite because you know what kind of appetite you have now. See, the soul, when you start dealing with the soul, the real you got a whole new appetite.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your affections change.
Yes. Yes.
Your passions change.
Yes.
Your intellect change.
Your direction.
There's nothing kept from you when you start tapping into the real you. Once a person knows themselves, I could say once a person knows the soul, but once a person knows themselves, there's nothing more that they need to know.
Thank you.
There's nothing else that they need to know. Once you know, because I mean, God didn't play games when He made your soul. Your soul is fully equipped for whatever.
Right.
The soul has properties. When you see your real self, it is the real thing. But how many of us see our real self? How in the world can you see the real you when there's no real serious practice to see it?
Thank you.
How are you going to see it when you don't have no serious practice to see it? When was the last time you just took some time out? Maybe you like to fast. When the last time you fast for 3 or 4 days just to see you? We're trying to get away from that and trying to get around it, but it's going to take whatever it's going to take. Maybe that may not work for you, but what are you doing? What are you doing to? Because see, if you don't tap into you, you're going to settle for the you already know.
That's right. Oh.
And the you that you already know is limited to what it heard, what it feels, what it tastes, and what it smells. It's already limited. It ain't going to get beyond that. I'm telling you right. It's not going to get beyond that. Now, it'll fool you up and think you really got something going on.
Yeah.
But as soon as the real challenge kick in, you'll find yourself not knowing you, not knowing your soul, not knowing you, and you can't see a darn thing.
Thank you.
You can't see nothing coming, and you can't even see nothing going.
Thank you. But you know who you are.
That's the shape that the people of God is constantly in. What do you? How familiar are you with your main attributes? Your infinite knowledge. How much do you depend on your infinite knowledge? Your infinite vision, your infinite energy. How much do you depend on it? How much do you depend on your knowing and your seeing? I mean, now if you got, Lord Jesus, if you got infinite knowledge, infinite vision, and infinite energy, and infinite knowing and seeing, what else would you need?
You tell me. Nothing.
You got the proper appetite, the proper passion, the proper affections, and you got all the intellect that you need.
Thank you.
The proper qualities. Here you are with all the proper qualities. You qualify. You qualify. I mean, when people just see you, well, you qualify. You just look like the right person. I trust you to do it with no questions asked. It's all on you. I mean, you can have it. So when you start recognizing what the soul is made of, you are recognizing what you are made of.
Thank you.
You start getting familiar with what you are made of. There's nothing you're going to need outside of you.
Thank you.
What are you going to need outside of you when you begin to recognize your makeup of what you really are? I think it's worth us digging like crazy, just getting before God, just crying out, God, I got to see me before I leave this world. I got to tap into who I really am. You got to take some attitude in this. Yeah, you got to get on into it. I mean, we got people out here that is preparing for the football season that would get out there and run. I thought about Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker used to do 3,500 push-ups a day. I mean, 3,500 push-ups, and I think over 1,000 pull-ups a day just to play football. And he's in the Hall of Fame. And I hope he don't become the senator, the senator of Georgia. And he need to stick to football. He need to stick to football. But this guy, now how many would we do 3,500 push-ups to know who we are? 3,500 push-ups a day. And 1,000 setups. One of the best running backs that ever played the game. From right there in Georgia. Grew up as a little boy trying to outrun the train. And would race with the train every day. Build up his speed. You get out on that football field. He will run completely over you and then step on you and keep going. Get in his way. Run completely over you. And if it's somebody standing behind you, he'll run over both of you and just keep going. He don't stop till he get in the end zone. So you ought to look him up. Look, if you just see, I mean, but the results in this world, how much more? I'm out of here, I'm out of here, I'm out of here. I'm getting ready to leave. So I'm going to give it back over to Felicia. I am so glad to have you guys on board. I am so excited to get you cranked up just for you to see the importance of you, the deeper you, the you that you hadn't got familiar with yet, that you got to work everything you need to work to tap into the real you, because the real you will satisfy all of your questions, will answer all of your questions and satisfy you and make you complete and whole. Complete and whole. You're not going to get it nowhere else. You got to tap into you. And we're going to talk more about this because it's only by grace. You got to stay in your place. You can't allow your mind to take you down these rabbit trails thinking that you can get this done your way. It's going to only happen God's way. Here's Felicia. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I am so excited. When I think about the people that's on this line, I just get excited just thinking about you guys and having you on board sailing in our sailboat, and it ain't sinking. It's moving real swift, and we're enjoying ourselves. Amen, amen. Here's Felicia. God bless you.